The best there is when it comes to information. The best there is for information. My next guest, Ryan Mauro. You've heard his name before. He's been here a number of times. Been a while, though. Investigative researcher for Capital Research Center. Also an adjunct professor, Regent University, and the former director of intelligence for the Clarion Project, a counter-extremism organization. A lot of extremism going on right now. Ryan, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Obviously, we've seen attacks on people like Charlie Kirk 3 weeks ago today, murdered in front of 3,000 students because of ratcheted up political violence in this country. We saw just over the weekend a Mormon church attacked and burned because of attacks on faith in this country of all kinds, whether they be Jewish or Christian or Mormon or whatever it might be. It's a dangerous time, isn't it?
It is, but it's one that we talked about coming many times on your show over the years. And that's because as part of my job, I have to look at the trend lines when it comes to extremism and national security. And so you can see the tempo increasing, particularly of the rhetoric of these ecosystems of hate that are profitable. Hate is a business. Anti-Semitism is a business. Anti-Americanism is a business. And so you have these large nonprofits that are aligned with the left, but in many cases actually violate progressive and liberal principles. And promote the type of hate that they know very well results in people doing things like what happened to Charlie and things like what have happened on college campuses since October 7th.
No question. And we've seen this happen. There's been this movement. There is this movement of people, right? But on the other side of this, you see other things happening. And George Soros comes to mind. George Soros, for example, bought Odyssey out of bankruptcy, a company that owned, 225 radio stations, and has begun programming changes in some of those places. But they've also began targeting other stations to do joint operating agreements or whatever they call them, trying to silence people like me. Soros Open Society gave $80 million to pro-terror groups in addition to that. You've just reported this. Tell us what that's about.
Sure. So it took many months to do this, but for Capital Research Center, where I work, they gave me the time to go through thousands of grants by George Soros and his Open Society foundations, that's his charitable network, going to groups around the world, which I was surprised to find out no one had actually done. The reporting connecting to extremism was always in drips and drabs. And so I focused very narrowly, not even on anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism, of which the dollar amount would be much larger. I just wanted to know how much was going to terrorists and groups that are explicitly pro-terrorism. And when I looked at the numbers and I went through these grants, my mind was blown because they admit that they only disclose what they're comfortable disclosing. And of what they're comfortable disclosing on their website, what I found was over $80 million since 2016 going from George Soros to literal domestic terrorist groups on American soil and pro-terrorism groups in the U.S. and abroad.
Like who? Give me some examples here of what we're dealing with.
Sure. The Center for Third World Organizing is probably the clearest example because they have what they call a hub with the Anarchist Ruckus Society and two other organizations that they bring together that openly talks about how they throw down in the streets during the uprising in 2020 and then in 2021, referring to what happened after George Floyd passed away and the rioting that was going on there. And they boast of training organizations and individuals. So there is an open boasting by the groups that receive Soros's money of engaging in criminal activity. And what we showed in the report is that according to the IRS code, nonprofits, which is a privilege, not a right like free speech, having a tax-exempt organization is a privilege, they are not allowed to engage in criminal activity and have tax-exempt status. They're not allowed to encourage, incite, sponsor, organize criminal activity, but that's what's happening. And the tax-exempt statuses of the groups receiving Soros' money and Soros himself, who finances it, have gone untouched. And hopefully that changes soon because I was pleasantly surprised just a few days ago, I believe it was, when the New York Times confirmed that the Justice Department has launched an investigation basically into the Open Society foundations in 6 states. That's Soros's group. Based on this report, they actually asked the deputy AG, so why are you doing this? What's the evidence? And it was this report that we released was the reason that they gave.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll dig in. Look, this guy is banned in his own home country. He's not allowed to go to his home country. There's a reason for that. He's been meddling mostly in the shadows, but sometimes out in the open. He meddled with free speech. He meddled with, social media. He meddled with messaging. I consider him a dangerous individual. I'll give you the last word.
Sure. Well, what I would add is that while everyone is talking about RICO and these other possible charges, the case for having tax exempt status is easier. It can be done more quickly, would be more powerful because that targets the organization as a whole and would cause a flight of donors, those who are unaware that their money's going towards filth, and those who know it but don't want to get in trouble. You could see this network, not just of Soros, but of other groups, crumbling overnight. And so that's why when I released this report, I said, I will volunteer my time to an organization that if you want me to help you make sure your money's not going to terrorists, I'll do that for you. But if you don't take my offer,
pretty good idea.
If you really want that to happen, you're in trouble.
Yeah. I'll make sure your money doesn't go to terrorists. What a concept.
Right?
What a concept. Ryan, pretty good idea. I appreciate you being here. It's a volatile time in America, that's for sure. It's never been more important to be vigilant about what we're doing, sir. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Greatly appreciate it. Ryan Mauro. Man, he knows. He's had an eye on these things for a long time and made sure that he's keeping up with all of this. So much going on, though. How could one person do it? I don't know that they could. Maybe this is the place for AI. Maybe. After the break, we'll just take a break, a clean, deep, cleansing breath. Maybe some baseball. How about that after the break?